Yo, check it out. I've actually recorded this like for 3 to 4 or 5 minutes, and the recorder was not recording. So you know what? I was going to quit it. You know what? I'm not going to quit. We're going to actually keep going. Welcome to a podcast by Corey. I'm most definitely going to tell you guys thank you for tuning in. I'm going to pretty much take my time on this because I want to most definitely give you guys a form of identity of who I am. And hopefully, as I give who I am, I can also go into my journey. And along with that, I'm hoping I can pretty much gather like a lot of feathers or a lot of jewels that you can pretty much put in your hat. Especially, you know what I'm saying, if you're in a young era and you're pretty much trying to find, you know what I'm saying, your direction. Not necessarily what career, you know what I'm saying, you want to go into, but primarily the direction of what passion that you have or what to pursue as a hobby, you know what I'm saying? Because we can pretty much let a job take over everything. And that's just pretty much just being honest, you know. And we don't even have time for ourselves, don't even spend time with ourselves to find out what is it that we actually like to do on our leisure time? What is it that we're actually gifted to do on our leisure time? Primarily for that, okay. My name is By Corey. That's spelled BYCOREY. Pretty much that's my social media handle. I go across all social media platforms. I know for a fact, like Twitter, I wasn't able to do it. And then Reddit, I'd most deeply apologize. It's pretty much you/director Corey. But the display name is pretty much By Corey. And a lot of you pretty much know that by now because I can pretty much see when you guys come into the stream, you guys actually say that. Thank you for tuning in, not just to this podcast, but also all the live streams that I've been doing on Reddit. You guys have pretty much been giving me a lot of great energy, man. I most definitely appreciate it. And without you guys, I know for a fact, I probably would be doing the podcast, but I know I would not have nobody to talk to as a great caliber as you guys. So, long story short, once again, my name is By Corey. Full name is Corey Collins, and I actually married, and I have a daughter. My wife is named Erica, and my daughter's named Paisley. I know a lot of you guys who pretty much been seeing her on the streams. On Reddit because I always, for some reason, I cannot hide my family. It's just I'm such a family-oriented man. You know what I mean? So you're going to see that face. A lot of times my stream is practically always about good energy and being very optimistic, and especially within challenging times because something for me that I know most definitely we're going to get into is the fact that I done had a lot of challenging moments, and I've overcome a lot of them. And I know for a fact, as long as I'm still living them, I'm gonna have a lot of them. So I pretty much like to share my experiences because I pretty much find them very interesting. When I share the story, somebody's always willing to take something from my stories and able to pretty much apply it to their life. You know what I'm saying? And for those who know as well, like on Reddit, I give a lot of advice. People call in on Sunday, and that particular live show starts at 11:45 at Sunday night, and it rolls into Monday morning and pretty much end around 1 o'clock, I think, or so. Okay. Pretty much that's my family. My job history, I have done so many jobs I did not want to do. But me being young, you know, straight out of high school, I always wanted to pretty much pursue fashion. I always wanted to pursue fashion. And I pretty much did it. And I did it on a form of independent level. But it took me a couple years to pull the trigger on that. Long story short, after graduating high school, I was working a lot of different jobs, man, a lot of different jobs. And my dream school, I always wanted to go to SCAD. And for those who don't know, I think I forget the name. I think that is Savannah Art Institute of Design or something of that nature. But it's here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I think they also got another location out in Savannah. I'm pretty sure they may have one in California. But if not, don't quote me. I'm just pretty much just freestyling a little bit today. I wasn't able to pretty much go to that school because due to the finances, it was pretty much very expensive. I shared it with my parents, and my parents wasn't pretty much down with me going to a school that costs almost $72,000 a year. And I pretty much like barely made it out of high school because I never liked school because I always felt as if school never really had like nothing interesting, you know what I'm saying, that pretty much like kept my attention. You get what I'm saying? Then too, even if I was dealing with fashion in school, like for when it come down to sewing, I never been into anything that was pretty much, I guess you say, not masculine. And especially, you know what I'm saying, around those years. We're talking about high school, 98? I graduated in 2001. We're talking about 98, 99, 2000, 2001. A dude catch you with a sewing machine around those times in high school, you're most definitely going to be getting picked on. And it's just a God honest truth, you know. But like I said, I always had a passion for fashion. After high school, I worked many different jobs, but it was jobs pretty much that I did not like. And along with those jobs, it was never going to be, it was never a job where I pretty much could, I guess you say, grow from. And I was dating a girl at this time, which pretty much was my wife. And we have always had like a very, very strong, you know what I'm saying, relationship. But she was pretty much going off to school, you know what I'm saying, because she had got a full right to play basketball. Was I jealous? In some cases, I feel as if I wasn't jealous. I was happy for her, but it did leave me with that question of what the world are you going to do with yourself now? You know, the stakes are a little more higher. And I would most definitely say girls most definitely can push a man to a better potential, you know. So I pretty much decided to go to school and get a technical degree or certificate, whatever it was. But it caused me to actually go out of state. No, not out of state. It caused me to actually leave Atlanta for a second. And I went to Albany, Georgia. And after receiving, I guess you said, a diploma from working on distributions and power lines and stuff of that nature, I found myself working with them for about 5 years, 5 or 6 years or so. So somewhere around that time period. I liked the job, but it was something inside of me like, nah, man, like this is not it. I've always been like one of the individuals pretty much very, very creative, you know what I'm saying? And I pretty much had working a job to that caliber, especially at a young age. We're talking around about like 23 years old. And that type of job is like a real, that's a job. Like that's like career job, dirt job, hot job, you working in it, cold job, you working in it. That's like a real job. I liked the job, but it was something there that pretty much, I feel as if it was for a period of time, pretty much like I can say about all my jobs. But if I still have to go get one, I will. I guess we can get it. That. But long story short, I ended up quitting. And this is like a little after time my wife, who's here now. I never only been married one time. Sorry, I'm most definitely sorry how that sound. But I knew I wanted to get back home. And I knew what I was doing. It felt as if like I cannot spend the rest of my life doing this, you know. And one of the most important things that I was being at the current moment was being honest with myself. I was making very good money in that time period of my life. I was making very, very good money being that young. And then dealing with a trade, dealing with electricity. For those who don't know what working on power lines and distribution lines is like, first of all, let me say this. It's extremely dangerous, very, very dangerous. And I pretty much had, you know, I was around a lot of very knowledgeable, very wise, very skilled, you know what I'm saying, trainers or whatnot. But over a period of time, you know, I just pretty much got burnt out. You know, I thought I knew how to do the job. It was most definitely wasn't a challenge no more. It wasn't a challenge. You working through all types of weather conditions. And then on top of that, one of the gentlemen I actually had graduated to school with and got hired on with the same company that I was hired on with, he never got his first check. He ended up, he passed away. He had a situation on the job, and the job actually took his life. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple of situations what actually happened was a hook came down and hit him on his head. Well, the rope knocked his hard head off first, and then a big hook that actually pulled the poles out of the ground. You know what I'm saying? Within the lineman field, they call them line trucks. Some people may call them auger trucks. But the pole, there was a pole in the ground that was actually pulling the pole out and replacing the pole like a power line. You know, sometimes you may have a car, they may hit a power line, they got to come and change out. It was a situation similar to that. Gentleman is actually up under the pole. They pulled the pole out of the ground, but no, they did not pull the pole out of the ground. The pole was set so tight into the ground to the point where it actually broke the rope. And when it broke the rope came down first, knocked his hard head off, and then the hook that actually hooks onto the clevis or whatever it is, the sling that grabs the pole, hit him in the head and it killed him. Believe it or not, even after that happened, I still did not think twice about, is this for me? Now, this is like the first 3 weeks, because I think I had to put like a week in the hole before I even, got a check or whatnot. As crazy, I can't necessarily say it was crazy for where my mind was then. But I will say this. I did not quit the job. I actually kept working the job because I was excited. It was something new. I knew I was making more money than my parents. Well, at least one of them, at least, I was making good money. I ain't gonna lie to you. But just at the same time, it's like, I feel as if I was so brainwashed into having this nice paying, well-respected job, well-respected man job, like man job, like you doing your thing, like you got the grip pliers, you got the line pliers, you can wire up transformers, and some people, that's cool. I totally get and understand, But somewhere down the line, I feel as if I didn't really take into consideration how dangerous, this job was. And over a period of time, just so happened, I just personally feel like, there was a hand watching over me. I done had many close calls, not close calls to that point for us actually passing away, but there have been many situations where I saw how dangerous this job was. And on top of that, I knew I could leave today and not come back tomorrow, It was one of those things, you know what I'm saying? Fast forward, after I worked this job for like a couple years, like 5 or 6 years or so, I pretty much don't know the job. You know what I'm saying? Everything is pretty much smooth. I know my job like crazy. I'm making even more money now. But I just lost my drive. I just lost my passion to be challenged. I wasn't passionate about the job. I was more passionate about being challenged, if you can understand where I'm coming from. I was way more passionate about being challenged on the job, or being able to pretty much problem solve and find the fault on where the electricity is not flowing, which is 7,200 volts, by the way, which is 7,200 volts, by the way, dealing with primary. Okay. My wife, she pretty much, like I said, them 6 years I'm down there, so she pretty much done graduated school. She comes back home, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really not feeling this job, man. Like, and then 2 hours away from home. I got the job. I went to school in state, but out of town. I got the job, went to a good school, did very well there, got the job, and I'm cool. But it's just somewhere down the line, I just pretty much was not being satisfied. I felt as if I had other talents that I know for a fact that this is not it, and I do not want to give my all to this job. So I pretty much knew my wife was, well, not my wife now, my girlfriend at the time. She hadn't came home, and I was like, you know what, man, like, I'm finna go home. I'm finna go ahead and get married, and I'm gonna go ahead and get a job up there, man. I'm gonna pretty much find out where's my spirit at currently right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I feeling? Like, is it a job, period, or like, what is it? You know what I'm saying? So I ended up finding another job, come back to Atlanta, got with my wife, showed her I was serious, got her a ring, and from there I'm working another job. And I ended up getting fired from there because one of the dudes, you know what I'm saying, I guess he kind of felt as if he couldn't talk to me like he could talk to a lot of other people because of his rank. I'm not with none of that shit at all, period. Excuse the French. Got fired from there, and then all I knew is I just had money saved up. I had money saved up, and I knew for a fact if I could just continue to pay these bills. Now, remind you, I just got engaged now at the same time. So I'm like, yo, if I mess around and just pay bills with this money, I'm not going to have anything. You know what I'm saying? And then at the time when I moved back, I was staying at my dad's house. You know what I'm saying? And he knew we was engaged. We were pretty much getting everything together. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much have our own spot. And, you know what I'm saying, just move in. But when I got fired, bro, like, it felt, I didn't know how to tell people that I didn't have a job. Like, that really kind of bothered me because, like, within the house that I grew up in, especially with my dad and my mom, a man pretty much has a job. all that positive and optimistic stuff is cool, but you got to have some form of fashion to pretty much back it up. Like, it has to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you don't have a gig and you talking all that, or really what you want to do, or so and so, my parents looked at you as if like you trying to game. I'm just be honest with you, which is fair. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much fair. As if you look as if you don't want to pull your weight around the house. You know what I'm saying? And you're a grown man now. Like, you probably around about like 26 or something of that nature now. You know what I'm saying? So all I know is I had all this cash, and I knew I could not let my mom and my dad know how much I had done saved. And I just knew for a fact, because I pretty much just jumped straight into screen printing, which is pretty much, you know what I'm saying, like that's always been into fashion. I always been into like, making things look nice. I always been into cameras. I always been into how to speak, you know what I'm saying, marketing, words. What is, don't say it like this right here, man. Stand right here. I always been into making something look better than what it actually is. I always been into being able to be persuasive by just speaking, by just drawing, or whatever it is. I always just pretty much had that talent with something I pretty much always had overlooked. You know what I'm saying? Where I would draw, you know what I'm saying, when I was young. Like I said, I wanted to go to SCAD, but there was no form of commitment there because I barely got out of high school, because high school never really had any interesting subject. It was always a whole bunch of bull. And then, the class that pretty much was very, very interesting, like home economics and stuff like that, it was pretty much like something that was not treated as a priority or whatnot. You know what I mean? It was never primary. It's always like something secondary. You know what I'm saying? So by me sitting up on this cash, I'm like, look, man, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take this money that I got saved up. We're talking probably around about like $8,000 or $9,000. No, honestly, it was a little more than that. About 10 grand I actually saved up. Because I know I had to get a computer as well. And I was just online. I was just searching, bro. Because it's like, I knew, man, if I cannot go down this job thing again. You know what I'm saying? I cannot do that. You know what I mean? Because, well, I can do it, but I most definitely have to invest my money now, because now it's like my entire career is about if somebody giving me the opportunity to work a job. And that's like the worst case to be in, when you could do the job, but the person themselves is like, it's up to them to give you the job or not. So what I did, man, I took all that bread, I kept it like away from my parents. I ain't let them know what I was doing. And I just pretty much bought all my equipment. I was staying with my sister at the time. I pretty much just left my dad's house. I left my dad and my mom's house because I knew for a fact I didn't know when the hell I'm going to be able to explain to them, why I pretty much invested my last penny into a business that I never done before. My first clients, my first customers was customers that I pretty much pursued. I never been trained. I YouTubed everything to figure out actually how to do it. All I know is when I was staying away from dad, and my mom, and them not knowing what I was doing, I'm not even sure I was getting unemployment or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? But I just knew I had to get around people that could understand where I was coming from. I was pretty much just tired of going through that situation, looking for a job, because I either lost one, or you so good at your job, you can't really, the vibrancy at the job is not the same, because people think that, you're going to take their spot. It's just like crazy. All jobs are not like that, but the ones I work was like that. After that, man, I pretty much just started screen printing. You know what I'm saying? I started pretty much turning some profits, but I was losing like hell, losing like shit, because I was just so new. I currently have a client today we actually still do business on. And it's a design that I actually did. And this design is still selling. And I still manufacture. Matter of fact, I got an order for that today, this week. I got to order that this week. And it's just, I just had to shift my resources, bro. Like I just got really, really tired of like being in position of needing a job. Like I just got tired of that. You know what I'm saying? From there, fast forward, I end up working, for myself. Me and my wife we rented a house. Right? After we rented the house, there was like there was a shed in the back. And I pretty much would go out there and I would just jump in the shed, Like I'm telling you, man, like screen printing is so messy, bro. Like it is so messy. And especially you can pretty much tell if a person know what they're doing when you're talking to pretty much a manufacturer or a printer. If they got a lot of ink on them, he's not the person to talk to because he's sloppy. It just shows you he's sloppy. You know, I can go down there and just print in like good clothes and everything. Won't get dirty, anything, because I know what I'm doing now, you know. But at that time, I was pretty much losing. I was finding customers. I was getting customers. But I still had bad money management skills, business management skills. I was just terrible at that, not being organized. And I was pretty much treating my business as a hustle and not an actual business. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I pretty much was messing up on. And I'm still learning a lot of those characteristics like now. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, let me see where we at, because I got a lot of this stuff actually written down, and I pretty much want to bring everybody up to speed. Investor screen print, and then okay, check it out. So I noticed the screen print business was excellent, but one thing about it, it didn't allow me to have the creative freedom, you know what I'm saying, that I pretty much always wanted when it came to being able to develop a lifestyle for yourself. So what I noticed with that, I said, you know what? I got to use the money from the printing service, the service side, you know what I'm saying, to reinvest it into a brand. That's what we need, because the brand will allow us then to pretty much outsource and do contract and license the brand, so I can pretty much sit back and chill. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I don't give a damn what passion that you have, bro. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but there comes a time when you can love what you do, but there's a time when you just don't want to do it. You know, I got to be honest with you. I haven't found that in podcasting yet. The thing about podcasting, what I have found, is pretty much having a topic to actually talk about, and you don't want to be sounding crazy as fuck for damn near 22 minutes, which pretty much what we're going on now. So, and that was my entire situation. So I noticed, I was like, okay, look, this is cool. I'm getting money from, you know what I'm saying, developing from structuring the business as a service. But now, man, we need our own brand. We need our own brand, so we can pretty much like make something pop, make something real dope, and then just shoot it out there, get the city rolling with it, and let that be it. You know what I'm saying? That was what led me to videography. That's most definitely what led me to videography, because this was a time when Instagram was most definitely on point. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was using IG and everything of that nature. You know, IG was just the thing, you know. But then there was right after then, they included video. And at that moment, I knew in order for me to close sales, in order for me to pretty much compete with other local brands out there, I'm most definitely going to have video. And then that's when I pretty much started to invest in cameras. I started to invest in good microphones or good mics or whatever it is. And with that being said, it was just as if like I just knew this could pretty much be it, and it could be the end of my business or whatever it is. But that's what pretty much opened the door of the gift that I pretty much had inside of me when it came down to directing. And from there, it's like directing has pretty much took me to like a level doing stuff with a lot of people who own businesses, a lot of people who know a lot of, I guess you say, artists. It just had pretty much been my bread and butter, like getting contracts to do visuals for certain people, certain businesses, whatever it is. And T-shirts still sell or whatnot, but it was just amazing how my entire story, my entire journey itself, and what pretty much pays the bills now is something that I never imagined that, you know what I'm saying, I will actually be doing. But it's not even, I guess you say, necessarily the cameras, and not even necessarily the merchandise, whatever it is. It's pretty much just having a talent and having an eye that you already had from birth, you know. And I guess you say that pretty much the moral of this story is, a lot of times, you know, you have a talent. And a lot of times we think we have to possess these things for the talent to arrive. But honestly, the talent is already there. You get what I'm saying? It just need to be nurtured. It just need to be around certain types of objects or certain types of energy or certain things that give off a form of frequency that pretty much drives it out of you. You get what I'm saying? And I got to be honest, like the entire journey that I had, so far and up to this day, it's been very challenging. It has been times where I thought I quit, but I haven't quit. I just evolved, and just being a businessman, just pretty much just trying to stay relevant in a competitive field, especially within the digital age. You know what I'm saying? Especially within the digital age. If you pretty much going through a situation where now, you're talented, but you can't pretty much put your finger on what you actually supposed to focus. I can't say it's going to work for you, but what worked for me was I pretty much was honest with myself first. I was honest with myself first. And anything that has something to do with a form of creativity, I pretty much just brushed my sleeve back and put my hands on it, I didn't allow information about the camera or information about screen printing to pretty much deprive my entire willpower as if, no, you can't do it because you got to get around people this. You got to have this kind of camera. Nah, the best thing you could do is just get started, bro. The best thing you can do is pretty much just study and use your time wisely when you can. So when you do come amongst your camera, when you do come amongst your screen printer, when you do come amongst a client who wants you to do their nails, you pretty much can serve them, and on top of that, it becomes it gives you confidence to actually keep going. You know what I'm saying? I understand, man. You'd be surprised how you could spend 7 years in one area and then all of a sudden, you have an interest within this one thing, you know what I'm saying, like for 6 months. And you're like, nah, man, it's just a hobby. And believe it or not, it may be something that pretty much resonates with your spirit. It may be something that you're pretty much designed to do, but you don't even want to really give it a full shot because you feel as if you don't want to waste your time because you have invested so much time over here. You feel as if it's too late to switch things up. Don't do that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that to yourself. One of the biggest things is to taste new food. Try to cook a different dish. Go the long way home. Go down another road to get home. Kind of study things. Get to know yourself. Just don't pretty much accept things for what they are in some cases. But when it comes down to your personality and creativity or your gift itself, you got to be willing to give yourself a shot to expose yourself to different things. I think that's primarily it for this cast. I don't want to be too long because I know I went back and forth with the jobs, you know what I'm saying, like so much. I hope you pretty much can grab something from this podcast. Just pretty much give yourself a shot, man. Trust your journey. Whatever you do not leave your passion on the side, you know what I'm saying, for no 9 to 5. But do what you have to do, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, have some respect for yourself and the gifts that are within. And you got to pretty much just open the door. I don't know what else to say. Like I said, I most definitely thank you guys for listening to me. I hope this podcast pretty much resonated with you. You could take a listen to it on ByCorey.com. I'm most definitely, if everything actually match up good with this video, I'm most definitely going to upload this to YouTube. And I'm looking forward of developing a digital relationship with you guys. And hopefully someday I'll be able to meet you guys and pretty much you guys can share your story with me. And I'm looking forward to actually learning a lot of business knowledge from a lot of smart people on all different types of social media platforms. For that being said, like I said, I have a lot of things actually in store. A lot of those t-shirt designs and stuff of that nature, I most definitely want to implement it and put it on my website. So if you guys can pretty much take a look at it, if it's something that you're interested in purchasing, that cool too. But most definitely, I always had a form of philanthropy. So that's why I haven't actually put it on the site now, because if I sell anything, I want to most definitely where it has a form of kickback to a person who may potentially be less fortunate or in some form of need at the current time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hurting, you know what I'm saying, for no form of money, you know what I'm saying, to that degree, to the point I'm trying to beg nobody to sell anything. I'm pretty much just an invitation to develop a form of culture, a form of understanding, you know what I'm saying, of what I got going on. So you guys most definitely be blessed, man. Y'all take care, most definitely.